Oh, it's Saturday morning. The snow's supposed to be coming down, and it's a good time to to drink the black blood of creativity. Ha! I'm your host, Daniel Crosier. This is COFOH Live Undead, and I am joined by Hollie and Henry Snider. Oh, man! Something on my face. Hollie, Henry, how are you?
Good. I'm good.
Doing
How are
well,
you?
doing well.
Good. Thanks for coming on the show. You guys are known as novelists, as writers, and editors. You're also organizing these amazing creative, critique groups for writers and putting together all these workshops. So you guys are just constantly doing some really cool stuff.
Everybody froze. Are you?
Oh, we're good on my end. You guys are looking sharp.
You froze up there for a minute.
Yep.
Okay. Oh no. Oh, modern technology.
Yep.
And you guys are experiencing a bit of a not a snowstorm, but ice rain right now, right?
Yeah,
we got a little snow going on out the window.
Oh, is it snowing now?
Yeah, we're waiting. We're in Aurora, just waiting for our portion of it to come at us. So here's hoping.
Yeah. Good excuse not to go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, what a great excuse to kind of snuggle up with your favorite novel and have some coffee or some Irish coffee.
That's coming later.
Excellent. So, Henry, Hollie, tell us a little bit about yourselves. Where you come from and how you got into writing. Hollie, can we start with you?
Sure. I don't know what all you want to know. It's pretty boring, but I got into writing when I was still in elementary school. I wrote my first novel. It was a whole 8 pages long. So I was pretty proud of myself because I was like 7 when I wrote it. So.
Nice. That's great.
And then it just went from there. Drove my parents absolutely nuts because I had such a vivid imagination that they could never tell if I was telling the truth or if I was embellishing things that happened. And to be honest, sometimes I can't tell either. And I just kept writing. I almost lost it in high school. I had an English teacher that no matter what I did, I just could not get anything out of her other than a failing grade on papers. So she almost ruined it for me. But the next year after that, I had a creative writing teacher that was just absolutely amazing. Went to college, have a degree in the arts, of course. So, that means that I can write and I can ask, would you like fries with that?
I know that feeling.
I got into editing because of the creative writing class in high school. Not only learning how to edit my own, but it was a workshop format. So we would edit our stuff, we would edit each other's stuff, and just found that I really had a knack for it and just moved forward from there.
Nice. Henry, how about you?
I've always enjoyed writing and putting bullshit. What can we say? Bullshit.
You can say bullshit, damn it.
Bullshit! Okay. I was putting a lot of bullshit on paper. And I enjoyed telling stories. I fell in love with horror. I have to blame my parents for this. They thought I'd sleep through it. They took me to see Jaws in 1975. I was 5 years old. Got hooked on horror. So I'm probably the youngest of my generation who can say, I actually saw Dawn of the Dead in the theater. I actually saw Phantasm as a midnight showing.
Nice.
My parents gave up when I wanted to go back and see Jaws again the next day. And I've been a horror nut ever since.
That's cool.
Writing, I got into in high school. I didn't start in elementary. I got into it in high school, and then in college, I started taking creative writing courses, and I write a lot for myself. And that led me to actually when I met Hollie. So, which was in there. And if you want, I'll give you that funny story.
Give us that funny story.
Okay. My ex-girlfriend said I should switch to the night group, that there was a really good editor in there that was a friend of hers. I said, really? Because I was single. She goes, no, she's got a boyfriend. So I switched to the night group, and I met Hollie, and we ended up getting into an argument or a debate, if you want to call it that, that very night in front of the college about which was better for a horse, a hack or a snaffle. And it, 26 years later, it's a hack. I'm speaking, Hollie. It's my turn. So
I didn't say a word.
You would have to.
So I actually went to her house. We found out we both loved the movie The Dark Crystal. And so I'm sitting there, I'm being good. We're watching a movie. She excused herself. I thought she went to the restroom. She came back a few minutes later, sat down on the couch. About 10 minutes after that, she goes, oh, that's long enough, turned around and kissed me. And I was like, but she goes, no, I just broke up with him.
Nice.
That was April Fool's Day, April 1st. Oh. Nobody believed us. 7 days after that, I proposed, thinking that she's going to think I'm completely nuts. She says yes before I get the whole proposal out. And then I got a 20-minute lecture on the fact I didn't propose the day we met, where we had the argument. We got married 3 months from the date of our first kiss. Josh came along a year later, and it's 26 years later, and she hasn't killed me off yet.
Oh my gosh, that is an amazing love story. I love it. It's got friction and debate, and and then it ends in marriage. I love it. Well, it doesn't end; it continues on.
Yeah, until she's done with me. She keeps saying, she doesn't believe in divorce. When she's done with me, she's an herbalist. She says, I'm just going to make you a cup of tea.
You just go to sleep. That'll be the end. It'll be painless, I promise.
Yeah, people meet their demise in much worse ways. So tea is a welcomed, alternative. Oh, that's fantastic. Angela just chimed in. She's waiting for the blizzard too.
We got a little snow, but nothing serious.
So far, right? Let's hopefully not much more. Joy said she had a teacher that almost wrecked her writing too. And then Angela's also said she loves horror films rock. She's actually my sponsor for the show, and she produces horror films. So
we've got 3 that just came in the mail last night that we're doing this afternoon that my kid hasn't seen any of them. So right there.
Oh, which ones?
She had to get a replacement copy of Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That is one of my favorite movies.
We actually have a poster on our wall in our TV room. Then The Frighteners.
Yes, that's so good.
And then one of my favorites that I actually saw at a midnight showing when I was a little kid, Life Force.
Oh, I love that. Toby Hooper. I love that.
Yeah. It really didn't get a good release here in the States. So it was like a 10 o'clock or a midnight showing. Right. And I conned my mom into taking me. So
cool. Yeah, when did that came out in like early
84?
84? Like nice. Yeah. Brenda, thought that was an adorable story. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Michael, Life Force is great. So I think it's pretty. It's almost unanimous. I'd say.
No love for the tomatoes, though.
Yeah. I love Revenge of the Killer Tomatoes. I can't remember, but remind me, was the second one with George Clooney?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
That was like one of his first leading roles.
Right.
And he has a serious mullet going on.
Yes,
So
I remember that. Yeah. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Angela just popped in again. It has been 2 years to the date for Snowocalypse. I guess I don't remember the snow back then.
2019 was that bomb cyclone that we had.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That certainly shut down 470 out here where I live. I still had to drive into work, I think, earlier that day. It wasn't too treacherous. I had my truck, so just stay off the highways. But yeah, she did say that Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was her mom's favorite. And she loved Frighteners and Life Force. So she absolutely loves you guys' relationship. So and you guys have been I guess writing novels and doing anthologies pretty much ever since, right? You've got a few new ones that you're a part of. Consumed just came out with Denver Horror Collective. I think you did you write some short stories, or did you serve as editors?
We were just the editors on that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were just the editors on that one. I do my best as an editor when I edit things. I don't like to put my own writing in there.
Okay.
If I'm going to do an anthology, I want it to showcase everybody else. And to me, unless I'm specifically told that I have to put a story in there, I'd rather keep the focus on the other authors rather than it coming across as, oh, she wrote it and edited it, she's tooting her own horn kind of thing.
Yeah. When you're editing and working in that capacity, is it pretty difficult to not to add your voice, or do you find it's pretty easy to help other authors really find theirs?
When I edit, I do my best to not put my own voice in there. What I do a lot is, instead of making suggestions, I will ask questions.
Oh, okay.
So that way it's more of a springboard for the author's own ideas, because I may think I know where it wants to go, but it's not my baby. It's not my child. I'm not going to take ownership of it. So I'll ask them questions and say, okay, so you have this character doing this, but what if this happened instead? And they may not like that idea, but it may springboard something else. So that way it stays their idea, their voice, but we've gotten either a more believable reaction or a more believable scenario that readers are going to accept a little bit easier. And then my voice doesn't take over, which it shouldn't.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah, Henry, do you have a similar approach?
Hollie takes the editor approach, and it's personality types. She focuses more as I focus more as a teacher, and I try not to drive points home with a hammer, which I am bad about. So when I do it, I try to give the history of this is why you want to do this way, and try to give more in-depth explanations. That way, instead of them just going, I'm going to make the changes he wants, they have a better understanding of the process, and then they go back and they can focus more on their entire work and take it moving forward. We both do that in the writing groups we're in, but when we're actually editing, she pretty much she hits it hard like an editor should, and then I kind of sunset in Kansas and meander all over the place. But both ways really work well. It's just two different approaches. But for that same reason, that's why we've never collaborated on a story or a novel together.
Oh, I see.
And never will.
Okay.
No, she'd kill me. No, she has an editing knife somewhere that she calls Mr. Stabby, and that's for when she gets mad.
Or a T.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't know it's coming.
And you'll notice he likes that phrase "sunset in Kansas." That was actually one that was coined in our creative writing class. And what it means is it's absolutely beautiful, but it takes forever to get anywhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, those real long, plain sunsets.
Yeah. So that is that kind of an indicator to the writer that's like, hey, you got to figure out a way to kind of move things along, so that you don't feel like it's meandering or it's just taking. It's not like an Anne Rice novel where it's just detail, long, and then finally the story kicks in.
Exactly.
Most times it's not.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool, but it's got to be really feel really good to be able to help other authors find their voice, and both of you yourselves, you write a lot of novels and short stories and stuff too. Do you find that you need each other to help curtail or critique each other's work, give good feedback?
Yes. Since we have such different approaches,
right.
We play to each other's strengths. Hollie is absolutely amazing with action scenes and setting, and I suck at it. My strength is actually characterization and bringing characters to life, and so we are each other's strengths for our own weaknesses. I had to stop and think I was going to say that correctly. So if I screw something up, I'm just going to claim this is all vodka. So,
yeah, that's right. Blame it on the tea.
That's it.
I think there's a theme going here that I'm trying to drive home.
But we still critique each other. When we get critiques from each other, more often than not, we do get our feelings hurt a little bit, which every author does when they get critiqued. Anybody who goes, "Oh, I'm just so excited, I just got ripped apart," they're not being honest with themselves. You're hurt. These may be your best friends, but in the back of your mind, you're like, I wish them to be stuck in traffic with graphic bouts of diarrhea and sneezing. And after you get home for a while, and you're home for a while, you get the opportunity to go, okay, I'm not as hurt anymore. Let's look at the process. So the comments that they made, do they make sense? Are they correct? Right. And at that point, that's when the editing really starts.
Yeah. With the two of you as a married, partnership, creatively, and you're giving feedback. Do you find it more enriching because of that intimate relationship?
Yeah, we don't we always say we got a little bit of the gypsy in us. We like to take long drives. Yeah. And most people go, "Oh, long drive, you take an hour somewhere." No, we take a 5 to 10 hour drive. That's a drive for us.
Nice.
And during that time, we may listen to an audiobook, but we both take paper with us, and if one or the other has the idea, we'll swap out drivers if needed. Write the idea down. We get to talk about that, or we'll talk about the latest creepy nonfiction book we've read, or something that we saw that the other one didn't. And news isn't something that really comes up a whole lot. A lot less now since January, so that's really nice. In general, I'm just going to stop there because I just completely lost what I was talking about.
Oh, no worries.
Kansas.
Hollie,
we also have the benefit of being able, if there's something that I'm trying to work out and I wake up at 2 a.m., I can poke him and say, "Hey, what about this?"
Right.
And it's not unusual to wake up at 2 a.m. and have those discussions for an hour or two and work it all out and then go back to sleep.
Nice. That's awesome that you're able to do that. Brenda just chimed in. They are the best editors ever. You learn so much working with them.
We paid her to say that.
Oh, yeah.
You did. I didn't.
Nice.
No, thank you, Brenda.
Michael is asking, do you know if you ever are, if they are editing the Jewish Book of Horror?
That's the next anthology coming out from the Denver Horror Collective, and
Cool.
no, we're not. The biggest reason is we don't know enough about the Jewish history. We actually both taught comparative religions a long time ago for a couple of years for the Pikes Peak Interfaith Council, but we don't know enough about, when I talk about any religion, including my own, I always refer to it as mythology, so I'm not offending anyone, or I'm offending everyone. Right. We don't know enough about the mythology surrounding it to even make that suggestion or that offer. My understanding is Josh Schlossberg is the one who's doing the editing on this one.
Oh, cool. Josh is amazingly talented.
I know enough about the Jewish religion to be very, very dangerous.
Oh, damn.
If you ask me anything about it, if I don't know, I'll make something up.
Oh, okay.
And you won't know if I'm telling the truth or not.
Nice. Brenda said not paid. So she's
no. I had so much fun editing her work. It was a lot of fun, and she was a great author to work with. I was honestly expecting a lot of pushback because she knows so much about the Wendigo and the mythology that when I edited her piece and I gave it to her, she just ripped through it, and she's like, yes. Okay, I'll get these done real quick. And she was just on it, and it came back clean. I wish everybody was that way. It was really impressive.
What's the one experience that really stands out, especially with Consumed, where the author was really engaging and really took a lot of your suggestions into consideration and got the work done?
All of them. Hollie and I, we kind of have. It's a pet peeve. We don't work with prima donnas. They get 3 chances. If they disagree with an edit, they can state their case and we'll try to work with them. Right. But we worked with prima donnas in the past. We had a publishing house, and before we would sign an author, we would be honest. We don't deal with prima donnas. We're happy to sign the contract, but if you look in the contract, it says if you don't make the changes that we ultimately say you have to, we're just going to cancel the contract. And nobody was that way. That's
nice.
The only thing that we heard anybody put their foot down about, which actually wasn't an issue, it wasn't an editorial mark, was Wrath James White, one of the headliners, said, in my story, black has to be capitalized, but it had never been marked that it wasn't. And we were like, that's fine, no problem. It works. That was the only thing out of every author that who put their foot down. Everybody else, they asked questions and they'd negotiate if it was something they were passionate about. There were a couple of those. And everybody came away happy as far as I know. We haven't seen any voodoo dolls with our names on them or any complaints about the finished product or anything like that.
If any tea packets come in the mail, just do not sign for it. That's awesome. Now you mentioned that you had a publishing house. Can you talk about about that and that experience?
Hollie, you want to hit that, or you want me to keep babbling?
Go for it. You babble so well.
We were working for other publishing houses, and I still do. I'll help out with book layout, cover art, editing now and then, mainly for friends who have their own publishing houses going on. And, don't get me wrong, they still pay me. I'm cheap. Anyway, and at one point we were frustrated about the anthologies that we were trying to get going. We couldn't get going, and some of the books we were passionate about, we couldn't get traction with the publishing house. And a friend of ours, Kevin Eikenberry, that's a huge shout out to him. He said, "Why don't you guys know more than the publishing house owners? Why don't you just start a publishing house?"
Nice.
And we looked at each other and we were like, we don't have a good answer not to. And shortly thereafter, Strigidite Publishing was created. Actually, Kevin was our first author that, excuse me, was published. And with that and the other authors, I think we're the only publishing house we know of, and we were still a micropress, that went from being in the red to in the black 3 months from our first publication.
Wow, that's fantastic.
We were picky about what we brought in. We have a threefold process for what gets a book sold. And it's old school. It's not virtual. You have to have a strong cover that draws people in. And that's one of the things. There are great books out there, and they're just going with run-of-the-mill covers or cheap covers or things like that. And those kind of covers are not going to get you people to pick the book up. Your second challenge is you turn the book over. The teaser on the back has to be engaging. It has to make them excited about it. It's kind of like watching a movie trailer. I always go back to movie trailers because I'm kind of broken up. My busted up leg when I was a teenager, and movies were my thing. So if you have a crappy book trailer or a book teaser, it's the same as a crappy movie trailer. Nobody's going to come and see it. They're going to set it right back down. Now, if you've got those two, you're 90% of the way to getting that book sold, whether what's inside is good or not. That's when the person just opens up the inside and they look to see what kind of writing style the author has and to make sure it doesn't tick any of their pet peeves. Like Hollie and I, a big pet peeve for us is we don't like present tense. And that's a big thing right now. And we understand that present tense can be fun and it keeps you in the moment. The problem is it also promotes lazy writing. Because you don't have to follow any of the rules because we're reading this person and that's just how they speak and how they think, and it promotes lazy writing. It doesn't mean that all present tense is lazy, but it does promote it.
Wow.
So that's a pet peeve for us. But if they open it up and they like the inside, you've got it sold. So without exception, it's actually just a couple of paragraphs, and a good cover gets you 90% to getting your book sold before anybody's even read it.
Yeah.
So and it works that way. So the covers that we used, they're strong covers. I didn't pay a ton for it. I'm big on the basic concept of capitalism. I used, oh God, what's the name of the place? 99 designs for all but one of them, where you get a bunch of different artists and they compete, and you pay them for their service, and it goes from on average 30 to 40 people down to 10, down to 4, and then you pick the winner, and that's who gets your money.
Nice. That's pretty cool. The along with that, like my background is in self-publishing comic books. Same type of concept. If that cover isn't spectacular and you can't read it from across the room, then it's probably not going to draw anybody in.
Right. It's the exact same thing. It's right there with you. Covers should be art. And there's an author, he does some specials and has a book out called Paperbacks from Hell. And it's all about 80s horror novels. And right along here, we've got our nonfiction section that's behind me, but our house
at the Snider Home Library.
Yes.
This is just one wall. We quit counting 10 years ago when we hit 5,000 books.
Wow.
And we've read almost every single one of them. So it's behind me is parapsychology, cryptozoology, mythology, on both sides, occult and alternative religions. And then we've got history that actually ties back into different aspects of religion.
Oh, cool. Wow. That's pretty, man, that's pretty sweet. What a great resource to have at your fingertips to really draw inspiration. I'd imagine too, like having a book library like that too, holding that artifact in hand, must also kind of go hand in hand with with that experience and drawing probably drawing inspiration, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I mean, I have a ton of ebooks, don't get me wrong. I have a ton of ebooks, a ton of audiobooks, but there is something about a tattooed dead tree.
Right. Oh, that's such a great analogy. I love it.
So I love my tattooed dead trees. What can I say?
Oh, that's great. Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, Joy just chimed in. I want to go to the Snider library. So
Holly charges a bottle of wine, and you can stay all day.
yeah.
Now, good wine.
Good wine. Oh, nice.
No gato negro.
Serves wine or Irish coffee.
That too.
She brought home a bottle of wine once. And
oh my God.
It was our last experience with cheap wine. We're big on, we do the equivalent to a Roman feast. It's all kinds of vegetables and cheeses, and then wine. And we'll sit and watch cheesy horror movies. And she brought this bottle home, and she goes, "It was on sale. It can't be that bad." And the name of it was Gato Negro, my cat. And we took a drink. And both of us at the same time tipped our heads down, and it went right back in the glass. There is no cheddar sharp enough to cut the tannins in that piece of garbage.
Oh,
so if they still make it and you want to insult somebody, get a bottle of Gato Negro, send it to them.
Nice. The ultimate insult.
Oh man, I figured it was okay. I'd had good luck with wines out of Chile before. But this Chilean wine, oh no!
Oh no way! Huh. When you guys are writing, what is your go-to source for inspiration? Is it your library or?
Our library, sometimes where we drive, dreams. I mean, we both have journals. I've actually got mine right here, and we'll write down. I don't mind flipping through. We'll write down. I tend to sketch too.
Oh, cool.
What's going on? That way we don't forget them, because once you wake up from a dream, it's like within 5 to 7 minutes you've forgotten 80% of it. Okay. So both of us are really fast. That if we wake up from a dream, last night I was putting one down from the night before, which she was laughing her ass off about it. I told her I don't know what the hell I was dreaming, but I ended up having some erotic horror dream about an incubus, and I'm like, I'm never going to eat the same dinner I did right before bed again. So she fell asleep, and I was just whipping out 6 pages just to make sure I had it all down, and that'll go in somewhere. And there's stories that are published that are still in here. One is Songbird. I had a dream about a woman being trapped in a cage by a brutal rapist serial killer. Ooh. And she keeps hearing people talk in the dark to her, and she can't remember what's gone on. She just knows that she's dying of thirst. She can't remember what happened. Her head's got a huge bruise on it, and she starts hearing from these 2 people what it is. And eventually, even with her broken, busted body, she gets to the top of the cage, smacks the light, and the 2 people that she was talking to, it's 2 corpses that are laying, just decomposing off to the side. And she hears her own, she realizes her own mouth is moving, and she's speaking for them. She's lost her mind. And she falls, hits her head again, and the story ends with the exact same lines it begins with. It's a circular story.
Wow, that's cool.
So, it's a fun one, but anyway, yeah, we get our ideas everywhere, and then we bounce ideas off each other, and smart ass comments that we make to each other end up in stories. She was drinking Gatorade, and some pieces of the plate fell into her bottle. I'm like, you're going to swallow that. And she goes, "It's no big deal. When I shit a Lego, I'll let you know." That's in one of my stories now.
Quite literally shitting a brick.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah, Holly, is your process pretty similar?
My ideas usually come from either misheard conversations that I may be eavesdropping on, like while I'm out and about, and I'll hear something and think I heard one thing, and it's not what they're talking about, but it'll work its way into a story. Or I watch a lot of documentary type shows, like on the Smithsonian Channel, those kinds of things, and that'll springboard ideas. Yeah. One of the big ones that I'm working on right now, I was watching a documentary on the suicide forest in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
And that got tied into, because I was doing research on lesser known cryptids. It's at the time that we were working on the Wendigo on Consumed. So I was actually delving into some cryptids, and I came across a cryptid that is a man-eating tree, to which it went, well, what if the Japanese suicide forest is populated by man-eating trees, and that's why you don't find the bodies?
Yeah. Oof. Jeez.
So my ideas tend to come from documentaries and take a hard left turn.
Yeah. Wow. But do you also find, like, writing on such real world topics, do you find that it can be kind of therapeutic too?
It is. It's very therapeutic because it helps me. It's like journaling, but I'm not focused on my own feelings. I can take those and superimpose them on these characters, and then they can do things that I wouldn't really do myself. Yeah. So it also helps prevent me from being a serial killer.
Well, any way we can dissuade you from poisoning your husband, let us know.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Oh, that's fantastic. The with writing too, I'd imagine like with any other art, you have to have some level of discipline. Do you? I've read with guys like people from R.L. Stine to Stephen King. They sit down and they've got to write X amount of words, or they have to sit at their screen for X amount of hours. Is it? Do you have a similar discipline with that?
I didn't, and it was really taking a toll because I would sit and I would binge write and I would write, and then I would just be exhausted and I wouldn't write for a long time because I was, I was emotionally exhausted from a lot of the stuff that I write. So now what I'm doing instead is I have 2 hours every evening that I write or stare at a blank screen or, do handwritten notes, such like that, so that I can actually get back into it and be a lot more consistent than what I was. So I didn't used to, but I'm learning I need to.
Okay. Nice. Henry, after you drink your vodka?
My process is pretty similar.
Okay.
I don't have much to add on that one.
He's the one that got me convinced to establish a schedule that way.
I have an artistic side, but my father used to do the budgets for the city of Colorado Springs. My mother is a retired bookkeeper. So anal retentive is kind of a family trait. So it's like if I wanted to dig down right here, I could pull up my daily schedule. So I get 2 hours in the morning to write or edit, 2 hours in the evening to write or edit, because it's the off season for me doing my day job, which I'm a trial tech. I make exhibits look pretty, and then I do 3D accident reconstruction using a drone and some specialized software. Wow. And it's the off season for me. There's a blizzard. So
yeah.
I have a lot of downtime.
Ask him about the baby stroller accident.
Baby stroller accident, Henry.
I had to take a class to show that I understood the physics, and the teacher said that we could do whatever we wanted to mimic an accident. And this software, it takes care of all the heavy physics. So you actually create a 3D environment, then you put the vehicles in, which we have a giant database for. You can put the weight in, all the key information, and then you recreate the accident. And it's detailed down to the point of the brand of tires to show potential skid.
Oh, my.
And they said I could do anything I wanted. So I put a baby in a baby stroller and shot it at 120 miles an hour at the side of a pickup. The reality of the situation is the pickup will not tip over. So, but it does get a nice little lean going. I turned it in, and I had made a backup final just in case it was an issue. And we waited till the end of the virtual class, and then the instructor said he wanted to speak to me. And the instant that everybody else logged off, he goes, "What in the hell is your problem?" And I said, "I've got another one." He goes, "No, you passed. That's not a problem. You passed." He goes, "But what in the hell is your problem?" Then I told him I write horror, among other things. And, he lightened up.
Oh, that's hilarious. Now, you guys have put out a number of novels, as writers. Participated in anthologies, also as writers and editors and stuff. You sent me a number of images of book covers. I kind of wanted to bring those up, and
okay.
if you wouldn't mind, we'll chat a little bit about them. Just like any stories or what it took to bring these works of fiction about. Because as writers, you're artists. You're creating your works, and each one has different stories on how to go about that. So this one I'm pretty familiar with. Terror at 5280. Henry, I know you're in here as contributing as a writer. Hollie, did you do the same?
No, I am not in that one. That anthology is actually the anthology that introduced us to the Denver Horror Collective.
Oh, cool.
So he saw that call. I didn't have enough time to get something to submit, but he saw that call and started talking to Josh Schlossberg about it. And we actually ended up going up to Denver a couple of times for their meetings and decided we wanted to be part of it. So
that's cool. Henry, what was that experience like? Working on your short story.
I had a trunk story I loved, and it's called Taste, and it has to do. You always hear about vampires and drug addiction, but it doesn't really play out that way. It's drug addicts where somebody discovers vampirism at the end, and there's infidelity, a guy trying to find his girlfriend, bad things happen, and it all started. I should have sent you that photo. Like I said, I'm a media guy, so I do a lot of photography, and I started out doing a 40 and Fabulous photo shoot with a friend of ours, Morgan, and up at this old place, burned down now. It was a Stagecoach Inn up the other side of Wilkerson Pass. And it started at that, and thank God Mo is as twisted as we are, because it was like 40 degrees out there. And she goes, "I got a couple other outfits," and it went from her looking gorgeous, which she is, to doing a vampire crack horror photo shoot where she's barely dressed by the end of the day. And Hollie keeps going, "I'm working on the makeup, but she's blue." We gotta hold her up. But we started with that, and I photoshopped a couple of images, and when I was done, I was like, "There's a story here," and looked at it for a while, and the next thing I know, we've got her as essentially a vampire who you meet at the end of the story, not able to get a hold of anybody else with blood, so she's actually got burnt holes in her arm and a silver straw that she had gotten from her husband as a gift because they were doing coke, and she's snorting her own blood to keep the herself that high going on.
Wow, that is awesome.
It's pretty twisted. I actually have a salute to a friend of mine from my college days who we'll say she was an exotic dancer. She's just a friend. But she had a giant tattoo across her breast and her lower chest. And it looked like it was a Chinese dragon, and it looked like it was biting the nipple. So if she was cold, it really looked like it was biting the nipple. So I've got that tattoo in there. So she's in there as well. And I haven't talked to her in years, but I'm sure she would find that absolutely hilarious that I put her tattoo in there.
Nice. Morgan just chimed in.
There's Morgan. Yeah, that's actually the model I was talking about. It was so much fun.
Nice. That's awesome. Now, let's see here. We got this guy, Hollie. This is your novel.
It is. It is. It's a high fantasy novel, and I'm actually just about to re-release it self-published. It has been released through 3 different publishing houses. So it's had 3 print runs, 3 different houses have picked it up. It did pretty well, and now I'm just tired of trying to shop it around, so I'm just going to release it myself and be done with it.
Cool. That one's called For the Rank of Master. Is that correct?
Correct.
Nice. When can we expect that to be self-released?
I'm hoping later this year.
Nice.
Call it this summer. It's on me to do it.
There you go.
All right, Henry, get on that. And what's the best place to follow you at? We've got a ticker going down below, fictionfoundry.org, and that's your platform too, right?
That's the group that we co-founded in 2012. Our son is actually the president. I was president of a group before that. I did it for 13 years, and I'm still burned out. So we needed a president. He's awesome. He's one of the few people I think who can say he's been going to writers groups longer than he's legally been alive.
Yeah.
Because Hollie was pregnant when we were going to the group before that. And as a baby, he came to everyone. He'd play with cars. So he was exposed to fantasy, horror, romance from the time he was a little toddler. We gave up when he was 3. He was, we watched, it was on VHS. We watched Jurassic Park after we put him to bed.
Oh,
and he was like 3, 4?
He was 4, and it was, and we had put him to bed. We thought he was still in bed.
And we got to the end of the movie and we're curled up and, the movie's over. And at the end of the couch, down where we can't see, under the end table, we hear, cool. So he's a sick little bastard too.
That's awesome. Well, what a great little family institution. Bringing your son into this, and it sounds like he's a writer too. I imagine.
He's working on his first novel. He's a published poet. His first sale was when he was 14, Hollie?
13 or 14.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And he's won a couple awards for his photography. If you look on, I think his Facebook background page, you'll see one of his photos. It's a person he knows who, I'm not sure of the term, he would do things with hawks.
He's a falconer.
Just in silhouette, and it's this hawk coming in to land on his arm, and you've got this gorgeous red sunset in the background, and it's not photoshopped at all. It's just a photo he took.
Cool.
So, the artistic gene runs in the family. That's
awesome. Morgan, call back. Hi.
Hey, Mo.
Brett is asking, does their publishing company consider first-time writers or prefer to just work with known writers?
Do you want me to hit that one, Hollie?
Go for it.
Okay, because you try to be sensitive to me. I'm not going to be. We're talking about reopening the publishing house. It is closed. In 2016, we were going strong. Everything was going fantastic. I went in for my middle-age checkup and had a doctor from South America. I forget what country she's from. And she listened to my heart and she goes, takes off her stethoscope. She goes, excuse me, puts her head on my chest, which is very strange, I might add.
Right.
And she listens just with her ear for a moment. And then she goes, this was on a Wednesday. She goes, you need to go in and have a heart scan. All of a sudden, I can't think of the term. Scan. I went in the next day, Thursday afternoon at 4:30. They set it up, and I'm like, it's not going to be any big deal. Maybe I need a stent. And the cardiologist cocks his head like a dog that's heard something strange. He goes, He goes, I'll be right back.
Ooh.
Leaves. Yeah. Comes back with the cardiac surgeon who cocks his head in the same way. And he goes, that's not right. And it turns out I've got a deformity in my heart where every time that the blood goes and wise off, you should have a nice junction. I've got a junction there, but it's inverted. So the blood comes this way, then has to pump up. And because it had to do it that way, it got all clogged up. So that was Thursday afternoon. Friday morning at 5:30 in the morning, I got a double bypass.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's another whole horror story that we can tell another time.
Yeah.
But they told me I couldn't work on 3 businesses anymore, and that I had to cut it down to 1. So I do the one that helps pay the bills, and then on the side, I do some editing and some other stuff. But the publishing house had to close because I couldn't dedicate 20 hours a week to it anymore.
Right.
We are talking about possibly opening again as a micro press and just being a little more limited. And if we do, we'll do the same thing we did. We don't care if it's your first time being published or you're a multinational bestseller. It's going to be the quality of the work that you give us. It's just that simple.
That's cool. Well,
we work with good authors is what we do.
Yes.
And one of the first things on the submission guidelines, if we reopen it or if we do an anthology and we do a call, one of the first things you will always see, and that's how you know it's us. First rule, don't be a diva.
Right. I was just going to say that. I bet you your first rule is the one that we mentioned earlier. Right.
That's the first rule. If you violate rule number 1, you don't have to worry about the rest of them.
Right. That's cool. Real quick, we've got the Wicked that you edited, Holly. How was that experience?
I absolutely love that. That was a group of women horror writers that were having a lot of trouble really being taken seriously in the horror group. That's when I do actually have a story in, because the founder of Horror Addicts selected all the stories and then contacted me after I had submitted everything, and she'd accepted and said, "Here, would you edit this?"
Yeah.
So that one I absolutely loved. Those ladies are amazing writers.
Nice.
Horror Addicts is still going strong. You can find them online, and the majority of them are still the lady writers. They actually got their start in that virtual reality Second Life. So that's how far back that goes.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've actually found, here's the interesting thing. I've actually found that the lady horror writers tend to be less of a diva than the male.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting. I don't know why, but it's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd imagine us guys tend to have pretty healthy egos and kind of throw things around. I'm used to seeing a lot of male jerks, so that's been my experience. Comic book community, artists.
Yeah.
I
you guys do have big ego.
We do. Yeah, totally agree. I accidentally clicked on consumed. We talked about that, but Live and Let Undead. Holly, you are busy. All these have your name on it. Henry, where's your stuff?
You know what? I'm lazy. It's the vodka. It's the vodka.
Yeah, Holly, how about this experience?
This one I think is my favorite anthology that I've worked on, Live and Let Undead, because it's very a la Fido. So
I love that movie.
It is a zombie anthology, but it's how do you reintegrate a zombie as a productive member of society?
Oh.
And there's a story in there that has turned zombies into a food source. So if you go to a restaurant and you see on the menu a teriyaki Dahmer burger, it's made out of zombie flesh. There's another one.
That's a delicacy.
And, I'm going to mention this author by name because his story in there is my absolute favorite. And it is called Luther's Love Shack. And it's written by Jeff Chitty. Okay. And one of the things that I have found as a female editor in the horror world, a lot of authors try to go down the road of let's see if I can shock her.
Okay.
And don't waste your time trying to shock me. Been there, done that. Jeff kind of tried to start that because he emailed me first and said, how far can I take this? And I emailed him back and said, how far do you want it to go? So he gave me Luther's Love Shack. And it's a zombie whorehouse.
Oh, okay.
But because they're zombies and they're not actual citizens, you can do whatever you want to them.
Ooh, jeez.
So there's snuff films, there's abuse, there's dismemberment. You name your kink, it's allowed at Luther's Love Shack.
Oh.
And the story works so beautifully.
Nice. I imagine it. God, that sounds like the premise of a great TV series.
Oh, yeah. And that's my favorite one in there. But there's others in there where they put zombies on treadmills to power houses because they never stop walking. So
right, makes sense.
Get rid of fossil fuels.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, brothel of the dead.
Yes.
Love it.
As a guy, you will flinch when you read it. I was like, this is just going to be sick and twisted and feed, the 14-year-old in all of us. By the end of the story, I was going, oh God, no.
His first words to me.
It's really good, but it even got me.
His first words to me after he read that was, "You're really going to put this in print?" Yes, I really am.
Wow, that's awesome. Oh my God. And then we've got this little doozy here. Henry?
Yeah, this is one of the ones from our publishing house.
Cool.
This is before novellas started getting really popular again in the last couple of years. And we had a couple that came to us. Oh, by all means, put it back up. They don't need to see badly much. But The Menacing of Julia it's a fun stalker film, and the cover art, I did the cover art, is actually one of our friends for The Menacing of Julia. It's her body, but she was making a goofy face, so I had to use a stock photo face to go with it.
Okay.
And the story on the left, I'm not going to give her name away, but it's hilarious. I got this story called Matriarchal Nazi Cannibals, which sounds funny, but it brings up an excellent point.
Right.
Into World War II, you hear about what happened to all the Nazi men. What happened to all the Nazi women?
Right.
They moved to Missouri and started a meatpacking plant. And for the special price, you can get some special meat. And I was having such a hard time finding a cover, and I was complaining to a friend of mine and telling her about, I'm trying to find some stock photos somewhere that kind of look like Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS.
Right.
And she goes, oh my God, hold on. And sent me a stack of photos about 10 minutes later of her wearing this outfit. She goes, I went as Ilsa last year. And I'm like, that is so awesome. And I told her about the idea for the photo. And she goes, hold on another minute. Ran to the restroom, strips down, takes a bunch of pictures, sends them to me right as Hollie's walking behind me. Doesn't ask ahead of time. I mean, I'm a photographer. It doesn't freak me out. Hollie walks past, and without missing a beat, she goes, nice tits. Keeps walking. We ended up doing that. And because of her work, her day job, we went ahead and put a Nazi cap on to cover her face so you can't see who she is, and covered the areolas because obviously we can't sell it on Amazon or anything else if that's in full view. Right. And the story itself is dark with a little bit of dark humor, but I saw the title Matriarchal Nazi Cannibals, and I'm like, oh my God, that needs to be on a cover somewhere. And it was a fun one to put out, and it was a really good seller.
Yeah. Jason thinks it's nice and unsettling.
My friends are very, very strange. I love you all.
And then we got this guy, too, Tales of Terror and Mayhem.
That's one we're actually both in, I believe. You're in that one, too,
no,
right?
No, that's just you.
Oh, is it just me? Oh, there's a couple that we're in together. I thought this was one of them. This one was put up by Evil Jester Press, which is one of the small presses that Henry used to work for. But this one was a lot of fun to work with, too. That one, I'm trying to think what story is in that one.
Jump up there and see if you can get the book. I want to see you jump. It's out of reach.
I am 5'5". That shelf is like 6 feet up there. I'm not going to be able to reach that.
Don't worry. Don't listen to Henry.
But yeah, I absolutely loved working with Evil Jester Press. Charles Day.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fantastic editor. He edited a lot like I do, where rather than saying change this, asks questions.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Trying to think the name of that one that's in there. I want to say it's Sapphires and Toadstones, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Well, you said it. Tell us what Sapphire and Toadstones is about.
Sapphire and Toadstones is my take on Jack the Ripper.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's because Jack the Ripper disappeared in 1888 in London, completely gone. So this was what happened if he actually came to America?
Mm-hmm.
And this is dealing with the Arsenal building in New York, which is now the New York Museum of History. And this is where they stored all the exhibits and such like that while the museum was being built. And Jack the Ripper, that became his hidey hole, so to speak. And he made a deal with the devil. And he has her trapped. Because I go a lot I love South American mythology.
Yeah.
So this one uses a Babylonian devil trap.
Okay.
And he has her trapped. He has a goal he has to accomplish. He has to find a toadstone. Because, the belief there that Shakespeare started that toads were venomous and carried a stone in their head that was supposed to be very, very precious.
Right.
So he's given the sapphire necklace and told that the final stone is a toadstone. So he's slaughtering toads by the thousands trying to find this, because if he doesn't find it by a certain time period, then the devil trap breaks, she's released, she's his, or he's hers essentially. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to find this, can't find it, and accidentally breaks the devil trap himself in his frustration. And gets taken to hell and is subjected to the earthly delights that he enjoyed as Jack the Ripper.
Jeez.
Essentially, she wrote an erotic horror a la Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems like a fitting end for Jack.
See, now you've touched on my personal favorite horror movie, which is the Hellraiser franchise.
Oh yeah. You gotta love Clive Barker. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. He's one of my favorite authors.
Oh, that's so cool. Henry Hollie, it seems like I could probably talk to you guys all day. Unfortunately, our time's just about up here.
Wow, so, that went fast.
Yeah. That's so much fun when you're able to chat with people you can connect with and learn about all the cool stuff that you guys do. So that's it's awesome. But we're gonna have to have you on again another time and see what new mischief you guys are up to.
Absolutely.
That sounds great.
I do have to correct, the story that's in Tales of Terror and Mayhem is Mirror, Mirror.
Mirror, Mirror. Okay, yes. Real quick, what's that one about?
That's a take on Snow White's magic mirror. Mm-hmm. And a woman who has such narcissism that she starts looking through all these fashion magazines and finding people that she likes and starts killing people and wearing their body parts in their skin because she wants to be just like the people in the fashion. And the mirror keeps telling her that, yes, she's absolutely gorgeous. And so she's killing because the mirror tells her to.
Do you people see what I have to sleep next to?
Yeah, of course. You need somebody to tell you what to do. Might as well be a mirror.
Yeah. He's been asked a couple of times, what's wrong with you? I get asked about every single time when I write a story. What is wrong with you?
What is right with you?
I'm not a serial killer.
Excellent.
And she's an awesome cook.
Oh, even better. It's like
trust the fat man. She's got a collection of like 500 cookbooks.
Nice. Well, I'd imagine so. Look at your library behind you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to go hand in hand, and I can't wait for you to write a short story about cooking.
That's probably I think that's in my novel, in one of my journals already. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
I do have a cookbook from Transylvania. I mean, come on, you got to do something there, right?
probably a lot of goat in there, maybe some blood pudding.
There's a lot of brain. There's a lot of brain
There's
recipes.
5 recipes for brains, and we can't get brains, and I actually really enjoy scrambled brains.
Ooh,
Brains and eggs is awesome.
I do remember real quick. Some years ago, Mile High Horror Film Fest had their thing at Alamo Draft House. My buddy, the Enigma, he was a guest there. You know, he's the sideshow performer,
Right.
and so he was a guest. They had a special green room for the guests, and he brought back some tacos, and you know, they're like, oh yeah, it's said to be like brain tacos. He's like, I think it's chicken or something. So he bit into them, and he had a little stack of them, and he just made the most fantastic face of disappointment. And he's like, Dan, this is probably more your speed. So I finished off his brain tacos. I was like, yeah, they're actually brain tacos, Enigma. It's got that kind of cream cheese consistency because I think they were seared. And yeah, I was like, yeah, it's like, these aren't too bad. He's like, oh my God, how can you eat those? It's like, oh, I'm just, worried about not getting mad cow disease or something.
Exactly.
Right.
I come from hillbilly stock in the backwoods of Missouri, which we could do a whole show on. So, it's like brains and eggs. You use every part of the cow. So
nice. On that note, we're going to have to end it there. Henry Hollie, thanks so much for coming on to the show. It was great talking to you and learning about all the cool things that you do.
It has been a true pleasure.
It has. This has been a lot of fun.
Cool. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And to everybody out there, thanks for tuning in and listening to us gab, especially during the oncoming supposed blizzard. And also special thanks to Hellfire Entertainment for carrying us to Mutiny Information Cafe here in Denver. Every revolution should be caffeinated. And thanks again to Alien Donut Films, our sponsor, and Bill and Angela out there for putting up with our shenanigans. And just a reminder too, COFOH is a Colorado Festival of Horror, which hopefully during, after the pandemic, we can actually have our first in-person event and not just to be an online entity. So, yeah.
Let us know when and if that happens. I'll be there in the front row.
Excellent. Currently, our scheduled dates for this year are September 10th through the 12th. Depending on COVID, provisions and any type of state and city and county restrictions. And then real quick, and there's Angela. Speaking of which, thank you. So thanks, Angela, for tuning in. All right. And to everybody else out there, thanks so much. Look out for each other. Take care of each other. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hang out for a second.
Okay.